Well guys, I have a new piece of motor power on my layout. Can you guess which one of the two of these are the ones that I just got? Anyhow, if you'd like to find out, plus see the rest of this video, hang out and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Alright guys, this is BNSF number 1466. It's an XBN unit 9289. It was built in March of 1991. Believe it or not, this puppy is still on the rails, still in BN livery. The only thing that's changed has been renumbered and put BNSF on the side. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because, get down here, let me get some light on that. I now have BNSF 1466. This was a swap between Ryan, Vermont Rail Fan, and myself. He asked me if I had an SD60M shell or a locomotive, and I told him yes I did, but it was in BNSF colors. He said, well, give it to me because I have a BN shell that we could swap out. So anyhow, he did swap it out for me, and as you can see, it's got the correct numbers on it, and the flag is in the right place according to the prototype. He didn't do anything special to this except do some weathering on it, and this will soon be on my layout, working the Arizona-California exchange, because that's basically what it does here. But I actually saw this locomotive the last time we were up at Flagstaff. He was on the rails, moving along just fine. Anyhow, just thought I'd give you a little information that this locomotive is now part of my fleet. Okay, that's all. Let's get on to the rest of the video. Alright guys, in my last video, Major Changes number 32, I told you that I was going to be adding some more lights to this. So, what I did was, started working on the upper level here, and the first thing I did was install the lights. So let's turn them on and see what we got. Isn't that nice and pretty up there now? And it's lit all the way down to here, and we're getting some bleed off from the outside light. But anyhow, I just wanted to let you know that I did do it, and now the only section I got to do is this upper section right up here. I might make that wall a bit taller. I'm not sure yet. I'll see how my funds go, so I could buy some more hardboard. But anyhow, as you can see, that's all done back there. Anyhow, let's get on some more of the video. Alright guys, we're going to start another part of this update to my layout. As you can see right there, I've got a line that kind of follows the track around, and that's how far the mountain's going to come down from the backboard. And it's going to be less steep than the rest of the mountains on here. It will, it'll match up with this guy right here, and then go all the way into the back. Anyhow, time for me to get up on top of the table, and let's see if we can start doing this. Alright guys, as you can see, I started to cut out my pieces to fit just to save a little time on the video, but I'm also going to have to start way back there because that's going to be the hardest for me to get to, and I'm thinking that once all the other structure is up, I won't be able to get to it as easily. So that's where we're going to start. Anyhow, let me get back up on the table now, and I guess we can start this process. We'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got some more of the mountain substructure done. But anyhow, what I need to do right now is this piece of wood right here. I have to laminate like I did the other three, and then this piece of wood back here I'm going to paint blue so it doesn't stand out and be so obvious. But anyhow, right now I am totally complete with all the substructure from that end of the layout through here and all the way down to that end of the layout. So the next thing that's on the agenda is going to be doing some plaster cloth. Anyhow, you see this piece of plywood that I got going across here? Now if you look at the prototype picture, there's actually a road there, and I just might do the road because I like the bridge that supports it. It's one of those big box girder bridges, and I will have fun to try and build that one. Anyhow, it's just a thought. I may have to rearrange the scenery on that end and also on this end here. But we'll see how that goes as time goes on. So anyhow, let's get ready to do some plaster. Be back in a little bit. Alright guys, before we get started doing the plaster cloth on this, I want to show you how I prepare for it. First of all, I cut a bunch of pieces so I don't have to do it while my hands are wet. Then I have one of these takeout food containers with water in it. I also have this big bucket with water so I don't have to keep running back and forth to the water faucet. Also, I have this brush. And this brush will come in handy, and I'll show you how in a few minutes. Anyhow, like I said, we'll start doing some scenery, and we'll carry on from there. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got the plaster cloth on this section, and I did go right up to the removable part that I did just a couple days ago. But anyhow, I'm going to tell you one thing why I didn't record this part, because if I did, there'd be an awful lot of bleeping going on. Anyhow, I did find out a way to do something on this material. As you can see, way back there, I couldn't get to that spot. My hand just wasn't big enough, and every time I try and get a piece of plaster in there, it would all crumple up and stuff. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get around that problem. So I guess this would be a vinny-vid tidbit. So hang on, let me reposition the camera, and I'll show you how we're going to accomplish that task. Be right back. Alright guys, I'm going to show you how to defeat the plaster cloth situation. In this area up here, I cannot get my hands in there with a wet piece of plaster cloth. What happens is it just crumbles up, it starts folding up on itself, and so on and so forth. So I came up with an idea that just might work, and this is what I do. A spray bottle with just water in it, and I'll just go ahead and wet it down like so, just as if it was being dipped in the water. Then I take that brush that I showed you guys, and I'll just lightly go over it and get rid of some of these holes. I would just like to wait just a little bit longer for the plaster to set up, and then it would be a lot easier. But anyhow, we'll go ahead and continue on this, and we'll see how it goes. Be right back. Alright guys, I didn't explain very well what I used my little brush for, so let me show you how I accomplished this. See all those holes in the plaster cloth right there? We're going to get rid of those. And anyhow, what you got to do is take your brush and dip it into the same pan you've been dipping the plaster cloth into. Get it really wet. And then once you do that, you can come back over here and let's attempt to get rid of some of these holes. Oops, sorry about that. I'm working in a tight space here, guys, so give me some slack, will you? Alright, so I'm dipping it in the water like I told you. Make sure the brush is nice and wet, and just go over it, just like that. plaster cloth here needs to be semi-dry, so when you apply the water it kind of activates the plaster again. And we'll come up here again, and we'll do up here. And you may have to do this a couple of times to get rid of all the holes, but the extra effort is definitely worth the trouble. Anyhow, as you can see, the holes are disappearing slowly. And you just got to keep doing it. Just dip it into the same pan as you dip your plaster cloth in. And the reason why is because it leaves some plaster down at the bottom, and your brush will pick some of that up, and it will fill in the spots. Anyhow, I will go over this again when it dries a bit more, and just wanted to show you guys how to get around all of these holes. Just got to keep playing with it until you get it the way you like it. And then most likely all your ground cover will cover up a lot of these holes, but initially, just to get rid of them, this is what I do. I hope this is helpful for you guys, and let me know what you think about it. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got pretty much all the plaster cloth done on this area, including the front right there and all the way back to where it goes into the other room. And if you notice, about 99% of the holes are gone. And I do have another dark spot here. I've got to figure out how to take care of that. Anyhow, if you guys are wondering why I haven't done this area yet, is because if you remember I mentioned that road, and I don't really know exactly where it comes from or where it goes to, but I'm going to do some research on that and see if I can fit that road in there. Anyhow, I'm going to let this dry up for a day or so. I need to redo the entire blue section back there, and I also need to take care of that strut that's sticking out there. So anyhow, like I said, I'm going to give this a little bit of time to dry, maybe a day or so, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit it with paint. Anyhow, stay tuned, and we'll get to this little guy also. We'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, the plaster has had more than 24 hours to dry, and I'm going to be using this find at Home Depot, and I tell you guys all the time to always check the returns bin. But I got a color that was pretty close to what I need in the returns bin for $2. Anyhow, we'll start the process here. And as you can see, I did a little bit of masking up there because I'm not too steady with the paintbrush. And I can do almost all of it. The back section is still a little wet, so we need to start at this end and work that way. Anyhow, let's see if we can get going with this. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got it painted from that strut that sticks out there all over this way. I can't go any further back because the plaster back there is still wet. And let me tell you something, that was a chore to do. I had to partially take off my fascia to get my hands in there. Anyhow, it is painted all the way up to here. And just to show you the color difference, I put the white styrofoam in front of it so you can see the color difference. Anyhow, whatever holes you see, those will get covered up with the ground cover when I start doing ground cover. Anyhow, I think this is as far as we're going to go for this video. Next video I will complete the other side, which is that guy right there, and probably have some ground cover on there. And anyhow, I'm going to do that little bridge I was telling you guys about that goes right here, only because it's there. And what I'm going to do is just have it go to nowhere, from nowhere to nowhere. In other words, it'll go inside there and inside the scenery here. But I want to have it there because I think two bridges in that scene is going to look really cool. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, your questions, comments, input, subs, shares, and likes are always welcome. For now, that's all folks. BNSF 6951 out.